Hi guys, and also I'm doing part 2 of the video that I did last night because I made a bunch of notes and I wrote them down. So I'm making you part 2, which I told you that if I had additional information that I would do a part 2. So that's what I'm doing. And you're going to see me looking down because I'm looking at my notes. If you're subscribed, thank you. If you're not subscribed, then hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of future videos. Choose the word all. All right, so let's get her done. So I talked about this in the other video where a narcissist will target you by doing certain ploys like the empathy tester to see if you would be a good sucker. Let me give you a sob story and see how you react to it, okay? So his mother had called to let me know after I set a wedding date that he was still married to his previous wife. I didn't know that. So she waits until I actually set a date, knowing that we were engaged. She waits until I set a date, and then she informs me that he's still married. And when I confronted him, he said, "No, I thought I was divorced. We went through the whole." First of all, let me explain you how this works. Some of y'all are well versed on this, so you already know, but you're not going to go through any type of legal proceeding and not know what the end result will be. You will know in court. You will know when you get documentation of the court paperwork. It's not going to be a question mark on your face as to what happened. So that's a load of bullshit. Him saying, "Oh, I thought it was all said and done." That's a load of bullshit, all right? Mood swings got worse over time and more dramatic. At one point, I screamed at him so hard my neck seized up and my throat was sore. He was used to having verbal knockdown dragouts with partners. Narcs love that and wouldn't have it any other way. His ex is extremely ghetto. She will fight with anybody for any reason. Super ghetto. That's the reason she was jealous when the kids came here with me and we ended up having a good time. But when they were at her house, it's always, "I hate you too," door slam, the other door slams, this person's screaming and yelling. That's pretty, that's what gets her off. That doesn't get me off. So I took them out and we all had a good time. And that pissed her off. Well, stop acting stupid and stop acting like Jerry Springer and your kids might like you too. Funny how that works. He ignored my chronic pain condition, had the nerve to say once when I wasn't feeling well, "Hey, I'm hungry." You don't see that I don't feel well? I said, look, normal people, because you got to compare the crazy to the normal. A normal person would say, "I'm sorry you're not feeling well. What's wrong?" You tell them and they're like, "Well, I could order us a pizza, or I could go grab Chinese, or I could cook something, Instead of opening women's legs, why don't you open up a cookbook? Why don't you try that? Instead of saying, "I'm hungry," and the person doesn't feel well, I'm not jumping up to serve you. Who the hell are you? You inconsiderate bastard. So anyway, I'm supposed to jump up and prepare a meal no matter how badly I felt. It wasn't going to happen. I didn't feel well. Screw you. So one time we had a shoving match. We had never been physical before. Found out later that the dude that he was on the road with was banging this chick that was into voodoo. She gave him some beads and he brought those beads into my house. And that was the same time frame that we ended up having a verbal or physical confrontation. I told him to get the beads out of my house immediately. I said, "This is a Christian home. That is not allowed in here. Get it on out of here." I said, "And Chuck's stupid for messing with somebody like that." And one time when we were having sex, he yanked out suddenly and without warning. When I asked him what the fuck was that, he said, "You moved." What? Aren't you supposed to move in bed? I didn't know you were supposed to lay there like a 2x4. So the real reason why he acted retarded like that was, it didn't have anything to do with that. It had to do with closeness and intimacy is very, very, very uncomfortable to them. So you're going to be intensely close with the person, obviously, if you're facing each other, especially when you're doing things. And he just had, I guess, a wave of extreme discomfort. And so he did what he did. And I'm going to tell you something else. The weird part is, besides that being extremely weird, my girlfriend's husband at the time did the same thing to her the same day. And she told me about it. And I said, you got to be kidding me. She said, no. I said, what is it, a full moon tonight or something? I'll tell you, wow. He was an abusive bastard too, but we won't go there. Anyway, so another time we had sex the night before, and the next day he decided to be an asshole as usual. And I said, don't think that just because you got laid last night that you can be hateful today. It will be a cold day in hell before you get it again, okay? I'm not going to play those games with you. I'm not. I'm just not going to do it. So one Christmas, he went off on me because I used money that I had earned to buy gifts for people I knew. And he had a problem with that. Technically, that was none of his damn business because that was my money and the bills were paid. So if I want to spend money to buy gifts for my friends, that's my goddamn business. Okay? His money is his money and you gonna dictate what to do with mine. Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, but they got a problem with anything that's going to bring people closer. Birthdays, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, all of those are a problem because it brings people close together and they cannot handle that intimacy. It's very, very awkward for them. So they'll either be an asshole and try to ruin everybody's holiday, or they'll be super fake nice because they're trying to impress the whole family with how wonderful they are. So it'll be one extreme or the other. And some people will do the nice, fake nice. And then once they have alcohol, because they're going to have alcohol since it's a holiday, right? So that'll bring out who they really are. Okay? So it just depends on the person. So yeah, one time, I mentioned in the other video that there were times that he was hateful on the road because he feels like he's in control. And I got sick and damn tired of that, and I took his keys away. And mind you, he screamed and yelled and ranted and raved and tried to dig the keys out of my hand. I clutched them in my hand so tight my nails were digging into my skin, and I refused to give him the keys, period. It's not happening. Now you're gonna do what I want you to do. I'm in control now, not you. And he started to bully me. And so finally he realized I wasn't going to give in. And he said, well, come on, I have a schedule. I have to be at the client's house at a certain time. I said, that's not my problem. You should have thought about that before you got hateful yet again. I will give you the keys when I fucking feel like it. You ain't in control of shit. You know what I'm saying? His mother fucked him up. I'm just going to keep it real. She destroyed him when she gave him away to someone else. If you want to see somebody get their life ruined, have their parents give them to somebody else. I don't want to bother with your ass. I'm going to give you to Auntie so-and-so. Abandonment will mess them up. He ain't never been right. And his sister I told y'all, his sister was the golden child. And so you would think because you're the golden child and your parents treat you like 24-karat gold eggs come out of your behind, you would think that person would be the nicest person in the world and the happiest person in the world, and she is the most angry person in the world. So any extreme or another can cause a person to be destroyed in their head. So whether it's abandonment, abuse, or overindulgence, as in treating the person like a golden child, any of those extremes can cause the person to have emotional extremes. She's a major bitch. It runs in the family, just saying. Yeah, I wouldn't give him the keys. I eventually gave him the keys back on my terms. I give them to you when I feel like it because I'm tired of your bullshit. You're not in control of Jack and shit. Jack left town. So, and another thing that narcissists will do, they don't mind breaking the law because the law applies to everybody but them. They don't obey rules. relationship rules, marriage rules, being faithful, okay? They're not going to obey those rules. They're going to do what they want when they want. And so rules and regulations do not apply to them. So the people that's in prison, all of them are not narcissists, but narcissism will lead to criminal behavior. Just based on that mentality alone. I do what I want to do. I don't give a damn what the law said. I do what I want when I want. So he has that mentality with the grandiosity. I'm better than everybody else. And, there will always be enablers in the family. I don't care if it's drug addiction, alcohol addiction, mental illness. I don't care what the problem is. There's always going to be some jerk in the family who enables this person and encourages them to be worse. Okay? So because he routinely breaks the law, this is normal for him. He does not have anything in his name. He will never have a house in his name. He will never have cars in his name. And because he's hiding from the law, and you're a lot easier to find when your name is on stuff. Okay? So when you if you buy land or you buy a house, your name is documented somewhere. Well, he can't have that because he's always breaking the law. And he tells people, now I want you to get ready for this. I'm getting a little toasty in here. Shoot. He tells people in the family and, whoever he knows, the reason why he puts things in other people's name is because he's got issues with the IRS. Excuse me? But that gives people a reason to help him because they're as twisted as he is. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'll put this car in my name. I'll put this house in my name. And for some of the hoes that don't own a home, they have a apartment or something like that. Obviously, the paperwork is going to be in her name. That's what he prefers, so he cannot be tracked down. Because he's had a traffic warrant out for his arrest for a good while now. I don't know if it's been quite a year. I'm not sure. But he drives vehicles that are not his. And he's an extremely careful driver so that he doesn't get caught doing anything. There's been a traffic warrant for his arrest. He will never get caught for that. Because he watches his P's and Q's. And he makes sure that those license plates on that vehicle do not go back to him. So it's disgusting that he acts like that. But it's even more disgusting that people are sick enough and twisted enough to encourage that behavior by enabling him to continue to do to break the law, in essence. Wow. That's why I tell you people, take your time when you're seeing somebody, because you don't know if they're a fugitive, you don't know if they're violent, you don't know anything about their history, whether they used to beat their previous spouse, you don't know if they've done parental kidnapping, you don't know what this person's done. So watch your P's and Q's and take your time, and don't go by what somebody told you, go by their actions. Okay, go by their actions. And his actions in the beginning were, I'm going to cross my T's and dot my I's because I need you to think that I am Mr. Moral of America. You see, I'm laughing, right? Right. Don't enable people to break the law. Once you reach a certain age, you're supposed to be responsible for what you do. And if you go around breaking the law left and right, you need to be caught eventually because you need some kind of negative incentive to quit doing your negative behavior. There's always going to be a dumb ass in the family who's going to enable bad behavior. How many times do we see somebody who has a drug addiction, they don't have a job, their parents will pay their bills, their parents will give them money for more drugs. I know of a guy who, I don't know him personally, let me clarify. I don't know him personally, but I saw him on A&E. He's been physically aggressive with his mom. He has a severe gambling problem. He does not have a job. His job is to gamble. His parents enable the hell out of him. They give him money all the time. They pay his bills. They not only pay his bills, but they take care of his dogs and buy the dogs food and take care of the veterinary bills and everything else. If he got enough energy to gamble, he got enough energy to get a damn job. I'm just saying. And when he almost hurt his mom, I wanted to whoop his ass. You don't intimidate your mother. If it wasn't for her, your bills wouldn't be paid, bitch. Oh, I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to hurt him bad because they had to refinance their home and everything for him. There's always somebody that's going to hold your hand and enable you to continue to do the damage that you're doing. If somebody you loves, I'll give you an example. Somebody you love kills somebody, don't protect them, stupid. They need to pay the price for what they've done. You can love them. You could love them with every fiber of your being, but you don't try to hide them from the law and protect them because you're encouraging horrible behavior. And how do you think the family feels of the person that was killed? Oh, that's my brother. That's my brother. I'm not going to throw him to the wolves. No, he threw himself to the wolves when he committed a felony. I love my brother with everything I have. But if my brother did something terrible and he got in trouble for it, I'm going to stand by your side. I'll write you letters every week. But dude, you got to pay for what you've done. You can't go around killing people and expect to get away with that. Okay? People who defend that person are just as bad as the person who committed that act because you're encouraging horrible behavior. You're encouraging it. There's a couple of people in Hannibal, Missouri, who have committed murder, and their family protects them to this day. They never got caught by the law. Never got caught by the law. So my friend was talking to one of the girls, the guy's sister. Everybody knows this guy committed murder, but he would never get caught, okay? So my friend mentioned something to his sister. He didn't come out and say, well, your brother committed that murder. He didn't come out and say that. But he alluded to the fact that, hey, everybody knows what your brother did. Well, she got all upset and her face got all twisted and she stopped speaking to him. Why are you protecting this person? Because if somebody killed somebody that you loved, believe you me, you're not going to protect them. You're going to want to go after them, guns blazing. Right? It's always different when it happens to you. But if it happens to someone else, that's a different story. It's not a different story, damn it, because it could have been you. You know what I'm saying? There will always be enablers, and you're not going to talk them out of it. The guy who's a gambler, and this is a common thread, the guy who's a gambler, his parents will still continue to pay his bills. I don't give a damn if the entire family had an intervention, sat them down and said, you are enabling him, you are causing him to continue to ruin his life, you're encouraging it, you need to stop. The parents will never, ever, ever stop. Enabling is a mental illness too. I don't give a shit what nobody says. Because you're destroying that person and you're helping them destroy themselves and you won't stop. All of y'all need therapy. That's the reality. Every single one of y'all need therapy. So anyway, this is part 2. I hope you learned something. I hope that you don't go through the same thing that I went through because it's a nightmare from hell. Once you sign up for that, you chose to dance with the devil by the pale moonlight. And baby, you don't want that. Y'all take care. Love you. Talk to you later.